one.
What's going on, nerds? Blue Ridge Nerd Network here. I'm Luke.
And I'm Dom.
And today we have a very special movie review for you.
We're not even 2 hours out from this movie right now?
Like an hour 20, I think, maybe.
Literally fresh out of the theater.
So fresh.
Speaking of fresh, Spider-Man Far From Home is sitting at a...
Certified fresh, 91% on Rotten Tomatoes for the critics, and a 96% for the audience.
Which is very good.
It's
it's top tier amongst the Spider-Man movies.
Yeah, let's see what Homecoming is right now. Real quick. Not like I could have planned this or anything.
Oh, I know, right?
Beforehand. Why is it... Okay, you know what?
Coming up with Spider-Man.
Search algorithms are great here. So, I liked it.
I did.
Of course.
I enjoyed the movie. Now, there was some twists and turns towards the end that not really had me concerned for the movie, but for the MCU moving forward.
Yeah, so I have a lot of questions about that after credit scene.
And we'll get to that later into the video.
Oh, and I'm just going to go ahead and say this now because I might slip up. Spoilers.
Spoilers. There's just
spoilers.
It's been out for 5 days now. We know there's a standard 10 days.
Homecoming's a 92.
How about that?
88 with the audience. So lower on the audience score, but higher on the critic.
There we go. Yeah, so spoilers, just going to go throw that out now. So if you
Spider-Man dies.
No, he doesn't. We're not we're not going that far.
No.
We did have one minor thing with we don't know if it was the movie or
the
projector.
I think it might have been a local issue. But I feel like everything was blurry for the first half of the film almost. The part that really stood out to me was when they were driving into Austria at one point.
Yeah.
Everything just seemed
really
out of
grainy.
focus and not... It was like 380p. It was bad. It looked like the porn that I used to watch when I was a kid, you know?
Yeah, like that. Now, for a lot of people that did go back out and watch the re-release of Endgame,
yes.
You got to see the intro before the title screen of Far From Home.
And that was the bit with Fury and what's-her-face, Maria Hill in Mexico, correct?
They're checking out a incident which leads them not only to the Elementals, but also to Mysterio.
Ooh.
So... yeah, that turns out pretty good. Nice little pre-stinger. As a lot of the times with the Marvel movies today, there's always that bit of information at the very beginning, right before the title screen, that somehow comes back into play at the end.
So. Yeah, wild how that works, isn't it? They're really good at tying it all together.
Well, not tying things together, unfortunately, because a lot of the scenes from the first trailers, are not actually in the movie. And the biggest one for me was the robbery that he's busting up at the end of the movie. He certainly busts him up. He's wearing the Iron Spire outfit. He's talking to a couple cops there. Like, hey, are you going to be the next Iron Man? He's like, no, I'm too busy doing y'all's job. That nice little burn.
Sick burn.
Right there. He's like, y'all hold down the fort. I'm going on vacation. That scene is never seen in the theater or in the theatrical version.
And there's one where he's getting a toothbrush
in the bodega.
And his passport.
Yeah, none of those scenes are in there, which I understand they don't need to be in there. But still.
I mean, I've kind of got a bad taste in my mouth from trailers that show you things that aren't in the movie. That's something that Marvel has done before.
A lot of the Marvel's done that a lot.
Very famously, Star Wars Rogue One, because they had to reshoot like a third of the freaking movie.
Which they're thinking a lot with the Marvel part of it, though, is that they're trying to hide things from you. And I do respect that.
They did that. So after watching the movie, we went back through and watched all the trailers again to see those scenes. And there are so many different times that he's wearing a different suit in the trailers.
Or they say something completely different than what was said in the actual movie.
Nick Fury's like, nice to finally meet you, Spider-Man. That's not what he says in the movie.
You're a hard person to get in contact with or something like that. Yeah.
I think that's actually exactly it.
And then when they're talking about Thor and Captain Marvel, they don't say unavailable. Nick Fury goes, don't... What was it?
Don't invoke her name when he says Captain Marvel.
Okay.
Whatever that means.
Which we all know Captain Marvel has a thing for Peter Parker if you've seen Endgame.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing. Hey, Peter Parker, you got something for me?
Yeah, but you're going to need some help.
Don't think so.
No, didn't need help at all. Let's see. Something else. Oh, in the trailers, so during the scene where he's at the benefit, he's wearing the Iron Spider suit. But
in the movie.
In the trailers, he's actually wearing the red and black suit from the end of the movie.
Very, very wishy-washy.
I don't know why they did that. But
the reason I think they did that is so that you wouldn't know for sure which was going to be the final suit.
Yeah, true.
Which a lot of us had the idea that it was going to be the red and black, which is a callback to, I believe, Spectacular Spider-Man, when Doc Ock actually had control of Peter's body. It's a whole backstory thing. It goes crazy.
I got nothing for that.
But for the most part of the movie, it's pretty fast-paced, getting to Europe and all that.
The first 25 minutes of it feel like they clip along pretty well.
It moves very smooth.
It
so
does.
I will say that. During that time, we get to see a bit of the vanishing in what they call
the blip
when they reappeared. Which is kind of interesting because they actually showed that
They
reappearing during the middle of
like
stuff.
a marching band appears on in the middle of a basketball
Yeah,
game.
that was actually pretty cool.
It was.
You hear Aunt May talk about when she reappeared into her apartment. The lady thought she was a mistress.
And then the grandma thought she was a ghost.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. I'm glad they talked about that.
So, yeah, I'm glad they addressed it because I mean that was a big question after Endgame, right? Like, what about the people who are flying? Do they just appear in the middle of the air? Like, what's going on?
Well, they did talk about that in
interviews and
Yeah,
stuff. But
that-
this movie actually canonically addresses it.
Exactly. So yeah, the blip. I don't know. The blip.
I'm not sold on that. I'm also not sold on the Peter Tingle.
Yeah, the Peter Tingle's a thing that they're calling the spider sense. Now, obviously, they're doing it for comedic purposes.
Yes, they play it for laughs, which I'm glad. I thought they were legitimately trying to call it that for a while. And
Yeah,
I was
no,
upset.
I hope that he does eventually call it the spider sense.
Please.
That's what I'm hoping. And hopefully in the third one that they definitely do that. Fast forward a little bit. Once we've gotten into Europe, we finally see some elementals.
Yes. So
in
the
Venice.
first time that Peter and them encounter him are in Venice, and it's the water elemental.
Obviously, Venice is a very water-rich city, so makes sense.
Yeah. Sucker floats even. The city, that is.
Yes. So they end up fighting him.
Mysterio shows up. Peter helps him. It's cool. He saves his classmates from a falling church or something.
So at the end of the day, as they're going in there, you see the classic scene from the trailer where Samuel Jackson darts Ned and then takes Peter off to their secret lair, and that's where he meets Beck.
What's his first name?
Quentin Beck.
Quentin Beck, better known as Mysterio. Actually, Peter kind of names him.
He name drops him. His classmates name drop Mysterio. He name drops it in front of him. He's like, no. Call me Mysterio. So I do like that.
He kept it.
I do like that. That's a nice little scene right there.
It is. And it makes more sense later once you find out the true motives.
Oh, yes. If you go along with Mysterio's comic history, you know that he's a con man. The question was, when was the con going to come into play?
The trailers really made him look like the hero in this, which they did a good job
That was
of.
the whole purpose,
It
and
was.
I get that.
Yeah.
But after the elemental attack, you see him meeting up with Samuel Jackson and everything, and he gives him, I guess, what was from Tony's will.
Yeah, his
sunglasses seen in Infinity War, which is called the Edith program.
Yes.
Gives him control of all Stark tech from the smallest robot to the biggest satellites, because you do see a big ass satellite.
You see several big ass satellites, I think. Yeah, he's got. He can also hack into people's phones and stuff.
Pretty cool, which he uses to help him out with MJ. Because the whole vacation for him wanted to be about him finally getting to talk to MJ.
He was gonna put the moves on her.
That he was. That was his big plan.
Let's see. What was that dude's name? The one that he almost kills. Tony?
No.
Toby?
Brad?
Steve? Brad? He almost kills a dude.
He almost kills the dude.
The first time he puts on the glasses, he's trying to erase an embarrassing photo off one of the guy in the group in his little
that
school
was taken
trips.
of Peter, and he accidentally almost kills him.
Causing a drone strike on the guy. Whoops.
Yeah. foreshadowing. Like we said, spoilers ahead.
Spoilers galore.
What else are we missing right here?
So he gets the glasses with Edith, and he's really not keen on it after he almost kills his classmates.
One would say it's too much responsibility for all that power. Which a lot of people, even Tom Holland stated in an interview before or on the press tour of Far From Home that a lot of people believe, even me included, and Tom Holland included, that the whole Tony Stark father figure passing away, that was this Spider-Man's Uncle Ben. Yes, he still had Uncle Ben, but they didn't have.
We don't see it this time.
We didn't have to get torn apart with an Uncle Ben dying scene, which was great.
Goodness.
We just got the very sad Iron Man death. That I keep. Speaking of that, I cannot wait for CinemaSins to do a thing on this because Tony Stark, Iron Man,
they
was
say
name
his
dropped.
names at least 100 times.
It was probably the most his name's ever been dropped in a single movie.
Even his own movies. Brad, right there he is.
Yeah.
Found him finally after 10 minutes?
It's ridiculous how much they name drop him.
His face is everywhere too. There's graffiti in every
every
city that they go to. There's either
some
an Iron Man or a Tony Stark or something. So RDJ is very present in the film in thoughts and prayers.
That even though he's not there.
Okay, so what else we got? Oh, okay.
After
they have to fight the last elemental.
Yeah.
In Warsaw. So Fury has complete control over the vacation at this point, and he is steering the school group through Europe.
Peter didn't want to do this. He wanted to enjoy his summer.
Peter told him he wanted to be on vacation.
Also that Spider-Man can't be seen in Europe. So they make him the stealth suit.
They give him the what is it? The Night Monkey?
Yes, Ned names him Night Monkey to hide his identity from can't think of her. Becky.
Becky? Hold on.
Becky.
I'll work on that. You keep going.
So the Night Monkey thing goes along.
It's Betty.
Betty, okay, Betty.
Close.
Night Monkey is what he is known in Europe now.
Yeah, which is weird. I hope they don't. I
hope that does not catch on.
Maybe that'll be a spin-off movie. That would be actually kind of cool.
So after he jacks the locations, he's steering them to direction for the final battle with the last elemental. I'd also like to add, I really, 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 really like Jake Gyllenhaal and Tom Holland's chemistry together.
They interact really well. Gyllenhaal really sells Mysterio.
He does. He really does. It kind of what is the thriller movie that he did? Jake Gyllenhaal, where he's like a cameraman and he goes Nightcrawler. Kind of had that kind of feel to it.
It did, and I mean Gyllenhaal is a very talented actor.
He's a very talented actor. So I was very happy with the casting of Jake Gyllenhaal.
Even when I saw him in the trailers, I was hoping that would be good, and it delivered. I think he killed it by far.
So they're there battling the last elemental.
The fire elemental. They got to keep it from getting metal so it doesn't get big enough to destroy the whole planet. Oh, we didn't mention this yet either. Jake Gyllenhaal is from a different universe. Or Mysterio.
Yes, which they talk about in the trailer, so hopefully you know that going in. But after
they do.
Yeah, after the final battle with the elemental, old Mysterio and Peter Parker enjoying drinks in a very shady bar. Shady.
Well, it looks nice.
It looks kind of nice, but it's still pretty shady. They're bantering back and forth, talking about everything, their experiences and stuff. And
Mysterio really connects with him on a personal level because he gets that Peter doesn't want to be the hero at this point. He just wants to be a normal kid.
He supports that at the same time. He's like, dude, we need you, you know?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the world does kind of need him in a way.
And Fury is actually headed to Berlin to meet up with something about the supers. I'm not really sure what he was going for, but he invites both Spooderman and Mysterio to go over there with him.
Conversation carries on, and they're talking in the bar, and just happened the Edith glasses fall out.
And end up on the floor.
He's like, hey, are these yours? He's like, yeah. He puts them on, they're talking about it, and He's telling him everything that the Edith glasses and stuff can do. And so he's like, you know what? He puts them on. He's like, you look good in them. He does that. He does like...
You should try them on.
You should try them. Oh, God, I cannot see. And there lies the con that we were looking for.
Yep.
Because as soon as Peter leaves the room...
Peter gives Mysterio authorization to use the Edith glasses.
As soon as he leaves the room, you start seeing projections and stuff going down.
The holograph falls away.
You see certain people disappearing, and you see some people truly enacting. And what you find out is that he's not from a different universe.
He's actually just a disgruntled Stark employee who invented some sick-ass holograph tech.
Which he invented the Barf, which was showcased in Civil War. Mm-hmm. He was really displeased about Stark.
Yeah, naming it Barf.
And then fired him afterwards. You see a lot of people from Iron Man movies.
Yeah, I'm curious to go back through and watch now because it seems like they actually show you the clip where
Obadiah Stane is getting pissed off at one of the scientists when he's trying to make his Ironmonger suit.
He's shouting about how Tony Stark built one of these in a cave in 2 weeks and you can't do it with all the best technology.
Well, I'm not Tony Stark. That guy's in there.
Yep.
There is 2 women in there from different levels. I hate that I can't remember it off the top of my head.
One of them
and then 2 more men that were also disgruntled employees.
They were all ex-Stark employees, basically.
They were
and they were...
All of them had key
skills
that were used to get to this point in the movie as well. Finding out where things were going, who was going to, and all that. So, I guess good part on them for the...
hey man, it's all about knowing the right people.
Research.
It's all about knowing the right people. And if you're a supervillain or trying to be a supervillain, you've got to be able to network, you know?
But after that happens, we see Spider-Man returning back to the hotel with the friends and all that, thinking everything's going to be good. Mm-hmm. And then MJ confronts him.
MJ actually calls him out.
As he's getting ready to tell him his feelings, she actually calls him out early. Like, yeah, I know you're Spider-Man. So he has this realization after she shows him the webbing that was on this thing that he pulled off of the elemental.
He hit something invisible when he was fighting the fire elemental, and he couldn't figure out what it was. Turns out he hit one of the hologram projectors and didn't know it.
And as MJ is handing it to him, because they're like, well, why does this thing have webbing? He's like, maybe he's the spider monkey. Which is, I do
That's
like.
a good line.
That's a good line right
line.
there. That's a good
line.
Then they activate the projector by accident. It just shows the elemental.
It shows the wind elemental, I guess it would be.
And it goes on from there.
They figure out that... At this point, they figure out that Mysterio is...
He's a con man. So Peter comes full forth with his identity to her. Then he's on this train to Berlin, trying to stop...
trying to get to Fury.
Let him know. We find out there that, which was probably the best CGI in the movie, was when Mysterio was alternating the reality around Peter Parker in the fights.
It was on par with Doctor Strange, and I think actually even a little bit better.
Yes.
When they were bending the buildings and whatnot.
It was very well done CGI. I know the first part of the movie for us was not that great. Like I said, we think that was locally.
I didn't notice any issues through that part, though. I thought it was crisp and clear.
It was beautiful. Great production value. He kicks his ass, though.
He kind of... Well, he doesn't really push him, but...
He does nothing to him.
Spider-Man gets hit by a fucking train.
He does. And you know what he does after that? Calls in the backup, calls in Happy.
Yeah.
And at that point, at that movie, it's the beginning of the third act. You gotta have the uprising. You gotta have the Eye of the Tiger. He calls them in, and they have this pep talk at each other, and
pep talk that's more in the trailers.
Yep, a lot of the trailer actually. Then they go forward. Happy's taking them to London.
Yes.
As you have a very young Peter Parker in the back, doing his best Iron Man impression, and you see that little moment of joy from Happy to see someone working again to make a suit or some kind. In which he goes through the entire catalog of all the Spider-Man suits that Stark has already pre-registered. He's just taking things from each of them and make them better.
Yeah.
That is the red and black suit that we get, which looks phenomenal.
Very similar to this.
Yeah, kind of.
Very similar in scheme. That's kind of the Iron Spider.
This is the Iron Spider. But but I was really happy with his whole story, or his not story, his progression of making the suit. Mm-hmm. You see it and all that.
He really accepts the responsibility of being
at that point
the new Stark or what have you, whatever you want to call him at this point. So he heads for the final showdown with Happy. Happy goes to try to save MJ
and all the other friends.
And Betty. And
Flash as well.
Flash, that's kid's name.
Flash is one of the saviors as well. If it wasn't for his live stream, that he would not have been able to find him.
Flash, channeling some BRNN inspiration there.
That he was. So in the final battle, there in London with the elementals, the projectors, the drones, and Mysterio himself was great.
Oh yeah, very well put together. The fight, Spider-Man runs out of webbing at one point and has to go full Captain America on their asses.
He grabs the Tower Bridge sign used as a shield, and he has something that would look like Mjolnir. He's swinging, but it's explosives. He throws it up there, destroys
part of one of the drones, I think.
Yeah, but destroys a bunch of the drones. The whole fight sequence destroys most of the drones and all that. Just great action-packed sequence. And then he gets to the top. He realizes he doesn't have the web, and he has to use his Peter Tingle,
his Peter Tingle,
which I kind of hated that he called it that himself at the moment.
That's the first time he embraced what it was called.
That's because he hasn't found a good name for it yet.
Spider Sense. Like, I feel like I just need to write an email. How do they not? Whatever. It's like they've never read a Spider-Man comic book.
I know, right? But dude, the fight sequence in that where he's using full spider sense is great.
He's working his way down a very narrow hallway towards Mysterio and just laying waste to everything in his path.
And then Mysterio has one last trick on him, but he doesn't fall for it.
Mysterio tries the old switcheroony, and Spider-Man catches it.
It's more of a Loki move. He's down on the ground.
Very
he's talking to him,
actually.
And when he's standing in an invisible projection of him getting ready to shoot him in the head, he catches it, or he stops him because of the spider sense.
Mm-hmm. It's good stuff. I can't wait to talk about that mid-credit scene, though.
After that, that's pretty much...
That's kind of the
end of the movie. They go back to America. They're Queens. They're going back and everything. See everyone reuniting their families. You see a nice little moment at the end of the movie with MJ and Peter swinging through.
Yeah, she is not happy about it.
She's not a big fan of it.
She is not excited.
And at that point, he drops her off and it kind of cuts. And then we get some credits.
Then the mid-credit scene appears.
Mid-credit scene.
10 seconds after it cut. Well, I mean, the mid-credits, but it takes place right after he drops off MJ.
In which was probably the greatest fan service ever did in a Spider-Man movie.
I freaked out.
You see J. Jonah Jameson.
J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson, mind you.
What we are all waiting to see appears on the big screen from the Daily Bugle with a clip.
DailyBugle.net, too.
Yes. That they was submitted by Mysterio. So this was his last and final trick right here. Ends up having a recording of Peter doing the whole command at the end to stop the sequence of the drones and all that. And Beck dies. Mysterio dies.
We're pretty sure.
We're pretty sure. We're just going to throw that out there.
Yeah.
Like I said,
we think he's dead. Somehow he got the video to the internet, but...
Yeah, well, that was one of the henchmen. You see that's why he pulled the USB out.
Of the computer. Right. Yeah, good call. Yeah, he's got this.
So then the world turns on Spider-Man.
He also he gives away his identity and makes it look like Spider-Man is the one who did the drone attack.
He wants to be the one and only new Iron Man and will accept with So that was very interesting. It makes me wonder, where are they going to go next with Spider-Man and MCU?
And is there going to be more J. Jonah Jameson? That's what I want to know.
I do want to see some more J. Jonah Jameson, because that was... My mouth dropped at that moment.
I was floored. J.K. Simmons, I mean...
I was so happy to see that.
He is J. Jonah Jameson.
He is.
And seeing him again from the Tobey Maguire ones is just so
It was
good.
great. And then that takes us to our post-credit scene. Which, the post-credit scene probably left me with more... shock and awe of anything.
I didn't understand what was going on.
So you see Maria Hill and Samuel L. Jackson riding in a car, and all of a sudden Maria Hill starts transforming into a Skrull. And then you see Samuel Jackson turn into a Skrull, in which you find out that it is Talos, the one that they befriended in Captain America or Captain Marvel.
Character. Yeah.
And he's like, well, I don't want to call him. I don't want to call Samuel. Well, he didn't say Samuel, but I don't want to call Fury. And he talks to him and all that. Hey, I kind of messed things up here. They keep asking me where the Avengers are and all that.
And he doesn't have an answer about where the Avengers are, which that confuses me. Where are the Avengers?
Did they ever really know where the Avengers were in the first place?
Yeah.
Who knows? But then you see Samuel Jackson in front of a nice beach setting.
You think he's on a beach somewhere.
Obvious projection or hologram, whatever for him. He's walking out. Beach get up, no shoes, through a spaceship.
Just covered in Skrull.
Skrull everywhere.
Just only Skrull, I think.
He walks out, the camera panders, and it just shows this wide open shot of a huge ship looking towards the galaxies. Cuts to black.
What does it even mean? I don't understand.
I don't get it either.
Well, you mentioned something about what? Sword?
The Sword division, Sword and Shield are divisions in the Marvel Comics. Shield covers the Terrarian version of it, and Sword is more of the galactic side of Shield to prevent things from getting to Earth. So that's what my theory is. Mm-hmm. That is the new division of Shield called Sword.
I mean. The
only thing that makes me the biggest disappointment is if we're working along with the Skrull, are we ever going to get the Secret Invasion, the Skrull story where they take over and all that? It seems so unlikely now. And then that's kind of the biggest thing that's tore me up about it.
I mean, I'm right there with you though, because
you're taking away stories for your future.
You are.
Unless you're setting us up for the biggest backstab in the world, which it could be.
Secretly villains, and they've been tricking us all along.
Which that might be it. If that's the point, then I like it.
I mean, they've already duped us with S.H.I.E.L.D. once. Why not dupe us with something else like that?
And if you have Nick Fury's trust, then
so it makes me wonder, like, how if the real Nick Fury had been on Earth, if he would have even done a background check on old Quentin What's-His-Nuts to find out.
Well, I mean, it's kind of, to him from a different universe. You can't really do a background check in different universes.
I know, but I don't know. Fury's the most not educated. He's the most well-informed man on the planet.
Yeah.
Granted, he did say in the movie that he's been gone for 5 years.
He had no idea what was going on when he came back.
Yeah. He used to know everything, and now he knows nothing. So I don't know, but overall, I enjoyed the movie. The end-credit scene confused me.
The mid-credit scene puzzled me. Post-credit scene puzzled me. It just makes me wonder what is going to be the state of the MCU, which we'll find out pretty soon, hopefully, from the D23 Expo and Disney coming up in August. We'll get the full movie lineup.
That'll be good.
So we get to see what the next 4-year future of Marvel is.
But, I mean, that's a good roadmap, though, especially with all the questions that we have now. And this is still the end of Phase 3 now, right?
Yes, we are officially into Phase 4.
4?
We're into Phase 4.
Into Phase 4. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Phase 4 has officially begun now.
I mean, I like that, too, because they're going a lot of weird directions with it.
They are.
They're ditching a lot of the original cast, and, I mean, I don't know.
Very excited to see what happens going forward.
Agreed. But my overall rating of Spider-Man Far From Home is going to be about a 7 out of 10, I want to say.
Now, I would have to agree with you on that. A 7 out of 10 for me as well.
I originally said 6 when he and I were talking about it earlier, and after discussing some of these things and typing up our show notes, I like it more. I like the characters in it. I like the arcs that they all bring to the table.
And most of the main characters from Peter's class, they do have quite nice little their own personal stories.
They do.
And stuff.
I mean, Flash, Betty, what's his face, Bill, Ned. Yeah, Ned, of course. Ned's been there through the whole thing, though. I mean, they all seem like they're going to have a porpoise in the series, and not just the tertiary characters that they are. And I think old Peter and MJ are going to have something good going on in the next film.
But with the whole reveal of his identity and everyone thinks he's going to be a murderer, it kind of makes me wonder what's going to happen there.
It's not great, but
that's for us to wait around and find out, I reckon.
That'll probably be, 2021?
2021 maybe. Well, like I said, we'll be finding out the roadmap they have for future DC. Oh my gosh,
for future DC movies.
Marvel projects coming out soon.
The roadmap that Marvel has for beating DC into the ground some more.
Exactly. But, these are all our opinions, and we're just a couple of random dudes who just like getting camera and talking about stuff. So
right? Let us know what you think
in the comments below. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Blue Ridge Nerd Network.
On Twitter at Nerd Ridge.
On Facebook
at Blue Ridge Nerd Network.
And on YouTube where you're watching us here now.
And remember to like, share, subscribe, and sign up for push notifications so you know when we go live, post a video, and
all the other fun YouTube stuff.
Everything else that you're going to do on YouTube. I think, is that it? Is that all YouTube does?
I think that's it, yeah.
Can you even type stuff on YouTube?
You can put post on YouTube, actually.
Who knew?
Who knew? I'm Dom.
And I'm Luke. And this is the Blue Ridge Nerd Network.
Signing off.